Hello and welcome back to my second video. So this one is going to be about movement. So I'm just going to show you a little bit about how to move the characters, where you can position them and stuff. It's actually kind of quite easy once you get the hang of it and stuff. There's a lot of directing and a lot of coding. Sometimes you have to get them in the right direction. So first off, I'm going to delete all of this, except for especially this, because I'm going to do an actual background this time, so then I can give you foreground, background, center, and stuff like that. So let's see, I'm going to pick, well, for one, I'm going to do let's race to the top here. Let's do a day. Let's do this one. This one's pretty easy. So what you're going to do is when you do backgrounds and stuff, you're just going to copy and paste it into the very top of your thing. As long as it works. Hello. Okay, so then there's a couple of different ways you can do it. So you can have the characters already be standing in the scene. So you can do stand screen right. Oops. You can have them do this. You can have them enter. Okay, my bad. I forgot to add the S. See, episodes is very particular on what you do. Otherwise, it will give you these little warnings and stuff over here. It won't hinder you up too bad, but it might mess with your coding a little bit and stuff. So I'm just going to make this a little bit bigger so we can see it. Okay, where did she go? Stand screen right. So there's these little buttons over here. I use these quite a bit actually. Especially for doing foreground, background, and middle ground stuff. You want to use the spot director a lot, and usually you'll see a Sarah pop up, but I don't know why she's, oh, maybe I've got to save and preview again. Maybe that's why she's not popping up there. But otherwise, I don't know. Because sometimes episode could be very picky, and it gets quite annoying. So while it's loading, okay, so see, she's kind of, okay, sorry. So going to direct helping and spot helper, it'll pop up with this dotted background around her. Then you can move her and stuff all around the screen. Now, to keep her where you want her, you want to scroll down to this little box here. And you'll want to copy this. This is where, and then paste this. This is where you will be able to keep her in the position you've placed her. So it goes scaling. So you can also scale her. This is the switch tool. So you can scale her. You can make her smaller. You can make her bigger. You can make her itty bitty to go into the foreground. It actually does help with many characters in one scene. It does help. See, then you can move her all the way here, and it looks pretty normal. You can make her smaller and stuff. But always remember that you have to copy and paste here, or just like that. These numbers are way different from up here. So it goes scaling. This is left and right. Or no. The middle number is left and right. The last numbers are up and down. So that's how you do spot directing. It's actually quite easy, and it's actually quite fun to do, especially when you have a lot of characters in one scene. I used it actually in my Clue story that I'm about to publish on June 3rd, so please go check it out. It's called Clue Forbidden Secrets. So I use that one actually quite a bit because I use a lot of characters. So like, if let's say you have Jay here too. Here, I'll do this, and I'll copy and I'll paste her here. So then I moved her there, and then let's see, I'll have Jay enter the room. So the entering is actually quite difficult. So if you want Jay to enter to the spot that she is at the scale she is, what I usually do is you always have to do enter at Jay enters from, and we'll have him enter from the left. 2, and then this is where I usually, since he's not on screen yet, I usually just copy the spot. And I move him from there, from where Sarah's standing. And so, like, that way he's already in scale. And here, I'm going to have Sarah facing the right way, too. So, that way she doesn't look like she's just staring off into the abyss. But, so Jay and I'll enter from the left. And now he'll go directly to her. He'll go right on top of her right now, but I can now move him whichever direction I want, but he'll already be scaled to the way I want it. I mean, it is kind of easy because it goes in like certain diameters and stuff, and I mean, it's pretty easy to scale, see? But usually if you want to make them enter from a certain like point and stuff, I usually go like this. And I do this, and I go, let's see, it's already on J, and so I gotta make sure it's on, so let's see, he was on 36, so I gotta keep him on 36, and I just gotta keep him straight along, and I mean, I can adjust him the way I want to, but I kind of take him off screen, and, oop, too high, too low, just right, okay, and I take him off screen, and I go like this. And so instead of entering from here, what I would do is, if you want them to enter to a certain thing, I do this. I do the standing one. And you just do stands. Well, never mind. You don't do stand when you do this. You just do spot, because that's the way he's there. And then how you make him walk is you go at J, walks to spot, then you travel all the way down to the end, and you go in, and then there's certain speeds you can do it. I usually do 2 because it's actually a pretty normal speed. You can do it 5 is pretty fast, 1 is pretty slow. You can do like in between, like you can do 0.5. It's pretty slow. There's just different amounts of scales and stuff you can do it as. Pretty cool. So now Jay will be off screen, and now he'll go right to where Sarah is. Now I'll show you where I can move him to be right next to Sarah. Well, he'll walk next to Sarah instead of right on top of Sarah. See, instead of him walking all the way up here at the regular angle, he walked at a normal spot. So now I can drag him to wherever I want him and stay there. I'm going to drag him down a little bit to make him to where he was. 76, like that. And then I don't usually hit copy all the time. Usually what I do is I highlight it and then I hit Control C on my keyboard. For the people that are using phones and stuff, I mean, you can just, you know, highlight it and hit select and copy and paste it and stuff. For using phones, it's actually kind of harder because sometimes it won't let you scroll. So it gets a little more difficult, but I mean, whatever floats your boat and trips your trigger on how you want to do this. I prefer computer because it gets a lot complicated and like you're constantly switching back and forth from stuff. Usually up here, I've got like 50 tabs open because I'm constantly researching stuff on how to do stuff. Like I'm constantly doing overlays. That's a video if you want me to do, I will. How to do layers is pretty cool. I can do a video on that. There's backgrounds, how you can make your own background, how you can make your own overlay. There's a lot of people on Instagram too that create their own backgrounds and overlays. As long as you give them credit, they'll let you use them for the most part. So it's actually pretty cool. I just found a new person on there that'll let you use their backgrounds and overlays. It's actually, and she's got some pretty cool ones on there, so I'm going to use those for my new clue story. So yeah, it's pretty cool. Overlays are pretty complicated just for the fact that sometimes they can be very difficult and you have to be very specific on where they go. Moving back and forth with characters can get very complicated as well. Like spot directing is actually pretty easy. But like otherwise, when you get into more of the difficult stuff, it gets pretty hard. Like choices I haven't really mastered yet. Like Dara Amari, she's got a couple of templates on her Instagram page that she'll let you use as long as you credit her. For like dressing games, makeup games, and stuff like that. So you can just copy and paste it into your coding. I can do a video on that if you want. Just hit me up on Instagram and I can do a video on that quick. But choices are pretty difficult too because there's a lot of weird symbols and stuff like this. And I mean, you've got to be very precise and particular on it and stuff. So yeah. So how you exit, most of the time I just kind of do what I do with the spot directing here, is if I want them to do exit the way they came in, if they're at a certain scale. Now they are scaled at a, when they come in and you have them standing already in the screen, they'll be at like 1.280 and, so like, that's just their normal scaling. So then you can just have them exit and enter like that, and it'll be perfectly fine and it won't look weird. Otherwise, you want to kind of scale them down to the way you want them and have them spot direct like that. So like the way you want to exit them is have them do this and have them do walk to spot. Oops. Try not to make many spaces because like, here, I'll do 0.5 because, oops. Because it's pretty slow, I think. And so, like, otherwise, like, it gets pretty complicated, so. Okay, maybe the 0.5 doesn't work. So, maybe 5. See, episodes is, like, really complicated. But, like, once you get used to it, once you get on the roll, it's not that hard, and you can zoom through it pretty fast. Like, I've been able to knock out in episodes in, like, a day or so. Oh, see, I've missed an S right here, so that's why it was hemming me up. 0.5, see? So frustrating. And see, like that, he didn't exit because I didn't put anything. Now, you can do this because, you can do another thing. So, like, he's gonna walk in and then walk right back out. So, if you don't want them to do that, it's gonna be pretty quick, too. I'll let you see it, and then I'll show you how you can slow that down, because it's going to be pretty quick. I hate when that happens, because, yeah, it's pretty quick. If it ever loads. There it goes. See? Now, you can do right in between where he walks into the screen and walks out of the screen, you can do an @. Do not capitalize the pause, but you're going to write pause 4 and then a number. So you can do on a range of numbers. So I usually do 2. It's 2 seconds. Now if I'm working on a big scene and I need to work around with characters and stuff, but I've already created a big chunk of my scene and I have a lot of moving around and panning to zones and stuff. Zones is another thing I can do a video on. It's pretty complicated. Once you get used to it though, it's pretty easy. Following characters to zones is pretty complicated. I'm still learning on that one, but I can show you at least a small video on that one. But like this, I usually, when I'm working on a big section, I do 1,000 because then it'll pause it for a really long time and let me work on it, and then I can get right back to it. But usually for stuff like this, I can pause it for 2 and then it'll let me go right back into it. Because then this way, Jay can walk in, say hey or whatever to Sarah, and then walk back out without it looking like he's turning around and booking it right back out of there. Like, oh no, peace out. So, I'll show you that. And it's pretty cool. So, there's a lot of different options for another video. Just hit me up on Instagram. There's panning to zones, there's following characters to zones, there's how to get a background that you like, there's overlays, there's changing of clothes, there's also changing of hair. You can do those too. Like if you create your own outfits, you don't have to have the same outfits every episode or whatever. You can do different outfits for them, but you have to do a coding for that, so I can do a video on that one too. But there's the video for this one. So thanks for watching. Hit like and subscribe if you're not already subscribed. And follow me on Instagram at bina.for.episode. Thank you. Bye.